This is TWiT.
So, for privacy-focused Linux users, most are familiar with things like Proton Mail, Proton VPN. It's not exactly a Linux. It's not exactly Linux, but it's very Linux adjacent having these things, and Linux users are kind of familiar with it. But if you're a Google Docs user, Proton still wasn't about to fill that need for you and get you out of the Googleverse. This week, Proton announced Docs in Proton Drive, a privacy-first document editor, which allows anyone with a free or paid copy of Proton account to create, edit, share, and collaborate documents on the go from any web browser. Proton Docs supports rich text editing, tablet support, paragraph styles, image embeds, and file compatibility with common formats like docx and RTF. But disappointingly, for us open source Linux and LibreOffice users, it doesn't support ODF, the open document text format that's used by default in LibreOffice. But like Google Docs and Word Online, it supports real-time collaboration with others you share documents with, including inline indicators of whose caret is where, and the ability to make comments and replies all end-to-end encrypted and secure. Obviously, it's Proton, so secure's their focus here. But it's not a comprehensive word processor and lacks many formatting and advanced features found in Google Docs, Zoho, OnlyOffice, online editors, etc. So for writing reports and college papers, you may want to stick with something more like LibreOffice for now. But it's new and hopefully will improve, and still seems very promising, for maybe something like our show notes. It could be useful, and we don't need all that fancy editing. But that's not the only thing Proton is in the news for this week. This week, they have announced that they are transitioning into a nonprofit. Proton has already been a supportive member of the tech community, giving grants worth more than $2.7 million to advance online freedom and democracy around the world. But adopting a Swiss nonprofit structure provides additional security, which a corporation cannot achieve. Because Proton has no venture capital investors, they could take this additional step to secure that future. Swiss foundations do not have shareholders, so Proton will no longer be dependent upon the goodwill of any particular person or groups of people, allowing them to focus on their mission to remake the internet in a way that is private by default and serves the interest of all of society, not just the interest of a few Silicon Valley tech giants. This is in their words. Proton wants to create an internet that is able and willing to defend freedom no matter the cost. And they believe being a nonprofit is more aligned with their mission. So you got Proton Docs and you have a nonprofit supporting those docs. So, with the Google Docs, it's not no nonprofit there and not security first.
So there's one thing in particular that I note about what Proton is doing with their nonprofit that is very interesting. It is going to be a Swiss nonprofit. Mm-hmm. I can tell you why. It's so that they have a place to retreat to if they get one of those fancy national security letters or the equivalent in other countries. Oh, sorry, we're a Swiss corporation. We're not subject to that. We don't have any servers in your country anymore.
Well, isn't Proton a Swiss company anyway?
They were started by some folks from CERN, and right. They may have always been based in Switzerland. I don't know that for sure. I find it very interesting that that's where they're at.
Yeah,
of all the places around the world, them trying to be help me out here, guys. What's the word I'm trying to think of? You're supposed to be my backup here.
Neutral country.
Neutral. Thank you. My tip of the tongue syndrome gets really bad some days. Anyway, yes, of all the places for them to be neutral, Switzerland is the one that makes the most sense.
I mean, I think a lot of that makes sense too with all their privacy focus. Their privacy focus VPN and Proton Mail, and now their Proton Docs and their Drive and all that. I think it makes a lot of sense being there and having that security focus. Just kind of it's that neutral security blanket.
Yep. Although, let's be honest, if you really, really needed privacy on your documents, you need to run a Nextcloud on your own server.
Hey, it's Leo Laporte. I hope you've enjoyed this little clip from our programming at TWiT.tv. For more, visit our website, TWiT.tv, or subscribe in your favorite podcast client. There's also a link somewhere down there.